Welcome the return of the serpent's wisdom. Open your mind and your heart to the most ancient travelers from our sun sister, the Great White Lodge, and from the great sacred seven or the seven sisters. Listen to the silence. Hear the wisdom of the serpent spread over this land as it has long before the great flood, as it slithers up your spine, awakening and fueling the divine spark, growing and growing into a roaring inferno in the form of scales and feathers, swallowing this earthly body until you can see through the serpent's eye and the birth of the divine is complete, only to initiate the inevitable march towards death again, 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 and again. Open your heart and your mind. The wisdom of the serpent lives in you. Receive its gifts, and you will be blessed. You will be healed. You will be illuminated. Ashe.
Ashe. Welcome, Brother Duli, to this special presentation for the purpose of education from the ancient past to the present and into the future. We present to you our shaman brother, Duli.
Peace and love, y'all.
Get centered, brother. Doing? Get centered. You're off center now.
I am? Okay.
You're off.
Get back. Get back here.
All right.
Is this better for y'all? Can y'all see
better.
me?
You can sit back a little bit. You ain't got to be up on the screen.
Okay. I wear glasses too, so I'm like, oh, what can I see here?
Oh, okay. Blind as I, huh? All right. So the first thing we're going to do is let's start with an introduction.
Yes,
what
sir.
is Serpent Elixir? And I want to thank you, Brother Baraka, for an excellent presentation. That was hot. Thank you, bro. That was great.
Yes. Thank you, Baraka. Yeah, that was hotness, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And we're coming to you, Duli. We're going to start with an introduction.
Okay. Well,
what is Serpent Elixir? What is it?
Well, I think we have to start all the way back from the beginning for people so they could get a better appreciation for the snake itself. And if people do thorough study, they will understand that people around the world have been using snake for the longest of time, using it as medicine, using it as a way to activate their spiritual awakening and just a connection overall to this reality and beyond. So most people, if they look at the association with snake, most people go to very organized religions such as, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. They have this reference of this snake, and it being associated with the downfall of man and woman. All right. So most people, when they think of snake, it's very ingrained, and especially a lot of people brought up in the United States or the Western world, that this snake is something as evil. It's the downfall of man, woman, this tempting snake being Satan, Lucifer tells Eve to eat this apple, the forbidden tree, so most people, when we have, I realized even doing my own healing surrounding snake, realized that there was an unconscious fear, aversion, hatred towards snake. But that hasn't always been like that. It hasn't always been like that, especially when we look around the world. Even if we look at the Gnostics or the Gnostic texts, we see that there's a flip side at looking at that whole story of Adam and Eve, and how really the snake is actually the hero in that story, and a liberator for human beings to be able to know their godlike selves. you know. So I just find that very interesting, just having an upbringing in Islam, Christianity, and a lot of that as a child, and having these stories ingrained in us about this aversion or this hatred towards snake, and then just a common fear surrounding it, you know. So you know, but like I said, it hasn't always been like that. You know, when we look at other older cultures that deal with their level of spirituality and stuff, there's numerous references on how the snake has been a tool for awakening, you know. So even when we look, excuse me, I'm just closing my door so the kids won't be hearing them in here, children. But when we look at like one of the oldest stories in humanity, some say is the Epic of Gilgamesh, right? When we look at modern day Iraq or Samaria, right, we see that this hero, Gilgamesh, was looking for the herb of immortality, all right? And he actually found it, but lost it to a snake, to this water snake, who actually took the immortal herb and was able to thus become immortal and shed its skin. When we look at the symbolism of shedding the skin, you know, especially when we look at shamanism, there's a lot of references to totem animals. So the snake was always a representation of renewal, rebirth, being able to let go of the old ways and being born, being renewed, being reborn. You know, you have also the symbol of the snake eating its tail, you know, the Ouroboros. And this is just another symbol of man's, woman's true nature of being immortal beings. So the list goes on. We could look at different places around the world as snakes being protectors of knowledge and wisdom. You know, you could look at even the Buddhas. There's been many enlightened beings that have come from the East in India, such as Shakyamuni Buddha. You know, these Buddhas were protected by the cobra, by the snakes. Their hood would go over and protect them while they sit under the Bodhi tree for their enlightenment. You know, you had Vishnu, you know, and Shakti. You know, you look at Vishnu, the aspect of God that's the preserver, you know, and you see that Vishnu is laying on Anada, which is the snake god, as a cushion. And what happens with this Anada is that every time he's uncoils, right, creation, existence stays in motion. As soon as he curls back up, you know, reality ceased to exist. So there's numerous, you know, you have in Africa, Dambala, who, you know, had their 7,000 coils, which gave birth to the suns, the moons, and the stars and planets. You have right here, we have a depiction right here of in ancient Kemet, where all the pharaohs would have the serpent right on their forehead to show that third eye activation. Do Uraeus, and you had Wajet too, which represented as a snake goddess in ancient Kemet or Egypt, you know. So this was, and as you could see, when you look at the beard under it, under the pharaoh right there, King Tut, we see that it's the bottom of the snake's body. So there was this real reverence.
Whoa,
And
hold on a second. Hold on. That is, I never noticed that. Bringing you back to Brother Baraka. Brother Baraka, could you bring up the snake tail so we could see the commonality between the pharaohs? Yeah, hold it upright, just right there.
right
And then we look
now,
at
put that right under and you'll see it right under their chin.
wow.
You see? So they were constantly trying to,
Wow.
yes, brother Hank. So they were
Whoa.
constantly trying to let you know the reverence and understanding of how deep this snake goes. My teacher who taught me about snake venom, he was very aware that they would use this in Africa, you know, in ancient Kemet, because a lot of the pharaohs would experience something called black tongue. My teacher actually got that one time where his tongue almost turned black, where you go to a place where you're taking in particularly a little too much venom. But there was a lot of pharaohs that actually seen them with the black tongue. That's when this man was going in hard with the venom. But he was looking it up, and it went away in a day. But he was trying to look for some reference for it, and he's seen how the pharaohs actually had that as well. If we look at even the Mahabharata, for instance, in India, we have the gods and the demons that actually form an alliance through churning the ocean, the cosmic ocean, through the great snake. What's his name? Vyatsu or something like that. I forgot the name of that deity, but it's all throughout these mythologies and all these stories about this reverence to the snake. We could look at even the dragon. That's nothing but a representation of the snake. And you look at that all through our Western culture, and you see, what does the dragon represents? It represents a protector. It's there showing you with the pot of gold or the treasure, so it's showing you that it's protecting something. That pot of gold, that treasure, is you, but it's there to protect you until you're ready to embrace that grand power that's within you. That's the same thing as we look at in India, the Kundalini, the activation of the cosmic serpent going up your spine, going up towards the 1,000-petaled lotus, and for you to have true union with the all, But this was a science that was developed in India through the yogas and the different sciences of activating that energy, But there's a lot, like my father used to tell me, in the 1960s, they had Kundalini yoga, right? Where there were a lot of people that had spontaneous Kundalini awakenings. And some of these people, I remember my dad used to tell me, some of these people would get caught up in the nut house, because their spontaneous Kundalini awaken that happened to them, they weren't ready to become God yet. You see? So that's where that guardian is there. That guardian's there to show you that this is not just to be played with in anybody.
I want to let me put on my headphones so I can get a better clarity. Sir. You just brought up a very powerful point, Brother Duli.
Yes.
I would say that anyone who is studying Kundalini yoga, check and make sure that your instructor will take personal responsibility if you have a Kundalini crisis or Kundalini psychosis.
Right.
Many brothers in the community today, Baraka, Duli, there are brothers who end up in the nut house, and when they reach out, their wives and girlfriends reach out to the Kundalini instructor, he's nowhere to be found. And I had this happen recently. I got a phone call from the wife of a brother who was practicing Kundalini from an instructor who only gave them the information over social media. He only gave it through Instagram. They never met him in person. And when they had crisis of more than one person, he was nowhere to be found. And two people ended up in the nut house. So I say, with great warning, and be very mindful, because some people want to do the express technique to enlightenment. There isn't any. So triggered something there. I'm glad we brought up this information. And sorry about that.
It's all good.
All of you who hear about Kundalini yoga, be very mindful. Connect with your teacher so that if you have a crisis, you can reach him and he can assist you. Because in pranic healing, we've had times that people who have Kundalini crisis or Kundalini psychosis, they would be treated by advanced pranic healing practitioners. But
Right.
I would say most of the people who are in the nut house, if not half of them, it's from Kundalini activation, and they didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
So, yeah, please continue, brother.
Right. That good. That's a good point there. And the reference of the god, the serpent god I was talking about in the Mahabharata is I had to look it up to make sure I wanted to get the right name for people. It's Vasuki. Vasuki. But also when we look in India, we have Shiva as well. And if you look at Shiva, Shiva is one of the three aspects of God as the destroyer. And if you look at him, he has a serpent, a cobra around his neck, his arm and stuff as a adornment. But the symbolism of it is wisdom. You know, it's going beyond a term that we call samsara. Samsara is the birth of life, death, and rebirth, the wheel of samsara, basically living in the matrix. So that symbolism of Shiva having the cobra around his neck is showing you that he goes beyond samsara, goes beyond this dualistic type of third dimension of the loony bin here. So, you know, there's so many references, as you can see, that comes along with the level of reverence and high respect for the snake, the serpent. And now when we look at even just numbers in general, in the United States, I say about 6,000 to 7,000 people get snake bites each year. According to statistics, only about 4 to 5 people actually die in the US. So it's such a small number, you know. And because when you look at the nature of snake, they're very timid animals. They're very timid reptiles. You know, when you encounter one, they usually ball up, you know, or try to play dead or whatever. They don't want any static. They don't want any smoke. You know, they go about their own business. The only time they really strike out is to warn. They say, "Hey, get away from me." You know what I mean? Usually their rattle or even standing up is just to give a warning, to say, "Hey, you know, I'm chilling over here. Leave me alone." You know. And they usually, when they do bite a person, they usually don't even give the venom. They don't even. They have muscle. They have control of the muscle of how much venom, or if they want to even release venom out of themselves. You know what I mean? So the thing is that when people even get bit, most of the time it's dry bites, first of all, because the venom knows how the snake knows how important their venom is. That's for them to survive in the wild and to be able to get their prey and eat and stuff. So that's just one thing, you know. So there's so much hype around this snake that, oh, this is a dangerous type of thing, and the reality of it is that it's not even a reptile that it minds its business. It doesn't want static with people, you know. So yeah.
I just want to ask,
yes,
about your personal life, your personal training. Like, tell us what you have studied, you know, from Reiki or pranic healing or crystal therapy. Tell us a little bit about you and how you were led to deal with Serpent Elixir.
Right. Well, you know, I was born in a very spiritual family. You know, I was blessed to have that experience growing up. And like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, they talk about how we choose our own parents, right? Before we even incarnate here on this planet. So I feel blessed that I picked two amazing parents to guide me during this particular lifetime. So both my parents, my father, he was really into mysticism, Eastern mysticism, went to Woodstock, you know, he was a jazz player, you know, he used to play jazz, met Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, got a chance to rock out with Pharoah Sanders once, you know what I mean? So, you know, growing up, you know, there was a lot of stuff that I was exposed to at a very early age, which I give blessings to, you know, because I grew up in the hood, you know, I'm from Boston, born and raised in Roxbury, you know, which is a hood in that area. And even though I was, we was always considered the oddballs of the community. They couldn't figure us out back in the early 80s. It was like, what, my real name is Abdul. So it's like, what is Abdul's family really on? Are they Muslim? Are they this? Are they that? But my dad used to take me to the Hare Krishnas when I was a little boy, on Sundays sometimes. And I used to like to go there because they just have free food, they had these little blueberry turnovers that I used to love, man. But, my dad used to try to expose me to a lot of things growing up, doing the Tai Chi. I was doing Tai Chi, Qi Kong, yoga, all that while I was a little guy, But, because, I grew up in the hood, there's a lot of gang violence and stuff like that. In the 80s, early 90s, the crack era, a lot of my friends got caught up, selling drugs and different things, just trying to survive. And a lot of that wisdom that my dad and my mom tried to give to me, I kind of, during my teenage years, I threw all that out the window. I was like, man, I'm just trying to survive out here, So it wasn't until maybe almost to the end of high school where I had this OG, this guy that from the neighborhood that I really had a lot of respect for, that got me back into Tai Chi and Qi Kong. And it was an elder who was a Vietnam veteran. Big up to him. One of my first really Tai Chi teachers, Master Heach Robinson, at the Roxbury Tai Chi Academy, which, that kind of really tamed a lot of my fire, because I was a very angry teenager. My mom's was considered schizophrenic, but my mom was like one of those people that took Kundalini yoga in the 60s as well. So I felt like I said before, like she was one of those people that got activated and didn't have the teachers or the people to guide her, to let her know that, hey, you're open, But
your mom experienced Kundalini psychosis or Kundalini crisis?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
How did you get into Serpent Elixir?
Well, I end up going to Mexico, man. I was in Oaxaca, and I was 400,000 feet above sea level, and it was, that itself was an experience for me. It was life changing, because I realized that that part of Mexico supported this type of lifestyle. You know what I mean? You would go to the local restaurant and the people had mushroom plates, mushroom paintings, mushroom floor mats, mushrooms, everything, and the spirit, you could, when I was there, you could still feel the ancient spirits there of the Mayans and the Aztecs and all of them, and the Olmecs. They're still around, live and living. And I remember when I first got there, I was out of breath. I remember I said, man, I thought I was a healthy dude. What's going on? I'm in these high mountains and it's this high altitude and I couldn't breathe, So my teacher gave me cobra venom. And the next day I was able to walk up that same mountain with ease, because the cobra is one of those venoms that help heal the lungs, heal the brain, the heart and stuff. So it just automatically opened up my lungs. And I was like, wow, this stuff really works. And I remember the first time I went to Mexico, because what I just talked about was the second time I went to Mexico. But the first time I did, and I want to big up Acacia Lewis. I want to big up her, one of my good friends and teachers. She introduced me to my teacher who taught me about the venom. And the thing about when I first was able to receive the venom, I took cobra first. And I remember I was so calm. And people that know me, I could be a very energetic, very it's a lot to me sometimes. So people that really know me, I came back to Boston and people noticed a big difference in me automatically. It's like, wow, just Duli seems more grounded. He seems more, Jesus just seems more present. And I had to give credit to the venom. And I just felt great. Sometimes we live in this world and, society beats us down, especially Black folk, melanated folk, where, since day one, we're taught we're not, you know, the best here, that, everyone's saying we're not good enough, or all these other things. And, society beats us down enough, so it's a beautiful thing where you can have mental clarity, mental health, that you feel good for yourself, that you feel handsome, that you feel a woman feel beautiful, that you're okay in your own skin. And that to me was really why I wanted to get into the snake venom, into the elixir, because I just noticed how much it was peeling away all these layers of trauma that I've been holding on to all these years. So when I seen that, hey, little man, you got to go in the back of the room. I'm on live here. Go in there. Yeah. But that's my son, y'all. But
Duli, I want you to touch on the different venoms that you have available for the various health challenges, whether it's physical or mental. And if you can go down the list, take it from the top, so that
right.
the people who are listening now will be able to choose which venom would be most appropriate for them.
Right.
Starting now. Go through the list.
Okay. So we got Cobra. I already spoke about Cobra, right? Cobra is a neurotoxin, meaning that it deals with the brain. And it's very good for any type of mental issues. So we're talking about people with anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism, you name it. And I
also noticed with Cobra, the quieting of the monkey mind.
Yes,
The
very much
internal
so.
chatter
Very
is
much
minimized, and intuition is heightened. Have
yes.
you heard that before?
Yes, I did. And again, that's why I got into this particular medicine, because it helped quiet my monkey mind.
Okay. Give us some testimonies of people who have experienced Cobra before we move to the other venoms.
Okay. Well, one of the people that had a great testimony with the Cobra is one of my relatives, my sister. And my sister Hanifa. I have two older sisters. And my sister Hanifa, she's a sweetheart. I love her so much. But she's been battling with severe depression and anxiety for years. And it was just because of our upbringing. I didn't, live with my mom, but she did. So she experienced a lot and went through a lot. And she would have, my sister would have the hardest time just being in public, just being around a lot of people. She would just go right in. You could see it. She was so uncomfortable. She couldn't go to events or like family events or anything. It would be too much for her. So she was the first person in my family to actually take the elixir. And she I think it was the second day after her treatment, she called me. First thing, hold on, before I even talk about it mentally, she had a fall down the stairs by accident, right? She fell down. Her leg, her friend's boyfriend had to drive her home because her ankle and everything was so messed up, right? The next day, the swelling on her leg went down. The pain was minimum, right? She expected that she was going to wake up in severe pain, couldn't walk or anything. The next day, it was like she could feel it a little. So that was when she called me. She's like, oh my God, that same day you gave me the venom, I fell down my friend's stairs and my leg is okay. My ankle is okay. This is crazy. She's like, this works. And then like the third day, she noticed the monkey mind, the internal chatter started to lessen, and she said she felt great, quote unquote. Before it would be so much for her just to get out of the bed. She was able to start her day with ease, So for me, that was a big testimony just from one of my sisters. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. And she's doing good now, So yeah, so dealing with pain and also dealing with the mental thing with my sister. Also, we got the elder, what's his name? It's gonna come to me in a second. He had back pain. Shoot, he's a martial artist. Damn, it'll come to me in a second. But this elder, he had back pain, and he laid down, put it on his back, and pain was gone. You know, I seen that with several people, especially with pain. When I was in Atlanta, it was another woman. It was a woman who was a track star. You know, been
Excellent.
having lower back pain
Excellent.
since high school. You know,
And
put it
this
on
was
her
with
back,
Cobra, helps
it was
with
gone.
lower back
Yeah,
pain.
Cobra.
Mm,
Yeah, Cobra definitely deals with pain, nerve
great.
pain, different things of that nature.
Because
The
most of the population are in some form of pain. Tell us,
right.
for all the women who are over the age of 25 and all the brothers concerned about youthfulness, tell us about Fertilin venom.
Ah, very good, very good. Fertilin. That's a hemotoxin. It's gonna definitely deal with cleansing your blood. It's coagulant. It makes you feel beautiful. I mean, it just brings a sense of self-confidence to yourself. And also it renews the skin. So it deals with the collagen. And this was one of the venoms that elixirs that my teacher's teacher used to take all the time. My teacher's teacher, he was almost 90, and the brother looked like he was 40. All right. And he used to do the venom, the elixir every day. All right. So it's an anti-aging elixir. And you could look at it as the fountain of youth. All right. So it reverses the aging process. It makes you feel beautiful. It helps you with your skin. It tightens your skin. If you have psoriasis, eczema, any of those type of skin issues, a lot of pimples and blemishes and stuff, it helps smooth that out. Also helps with cancer as well. And yeah, brain cancer helps, hepatitis C, you know. Yeah, so yeah, so that's another good one too.
Okay, well, let's touch on about cancer. Which venoms may be prevention and assistance with someone is having a cancerous challenge in their body? Which
Right.
venoms do you recommend?
Copperhead. Copperhead, without a doubt. Copperhead is the master of dealing with cancer. All right. Copperhead is the one that eats it up. It eats up tumors. It's fantastic for anybody that's dealing with any type of issues along that lines. It's anticoagulant. It's the cousin of the cottonmouth. And it's also good for stroke victims as well. People who have strokes, copperhead, very good. Breast cancer, excellent. Blood clots, excellent. Joint pain, excellent. Helps with the nervous system. All right. Deals with the memory receptors. All right. Yeah. So yeah, copperhead is that one on that level. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about, could you share with methods of absorption, whether it can be burned in or drink?
Right. Right.
'Cause not
Right.
everybody wants to have tattoos of
Right.
serpent
Not everyone
elixir.
wants to look like that guy Killmonger from the Black Panther.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Well, there's two ways of taking it. If those are people who might be familiar with combo. I also serve combo. I went to Costa Rica to learn how to work with that medicine, which is for another video. That was just a beautiful experience. But combo is a very detox medicine, and the way you apply combo is you make these dots, or what we call gates on the skin. I could show y'all my skin, some of the dots that I don't know if y'all can see them or not. Hold on. But they're like they're dots on here, right? That you make a burn mark for the first layer of the skin, right? First layer of the skin. And then you apply the elixir on top of where the burn mark is. and it absorbs into the skin. All right. And when it absorbs into the skin, that's when you know your session is done with working with that particular venom that day. Some of them don't absorb in. Those are more hemotoxins, copperhead, rattlesnake, some of those, even water moccasins, sometimes they kind of just stay on top of the skin, kind of gel up, you know. But if you see like little blood drops coming to the surface, then you'll know that you're done with your session. All right. Another way of doing, and by the way, too, the burn marks go away, so they're not permanent. They're not going to scar your body, right? You know, after a couple of months, about 3-4 months, you'll see the or even sooner, you'll see the burn mark fade away. All right. And you could just put like maybe some cocoa butter or shea butter or aloe vera on your skin or whatever, and it'll go away.
Cool. Tell us about the drinking of the venom.
Yes, the venom. You could drink the elixir as well. Now, again, like we said, some people might not want to do the burn mark on the skin. You know, some people like, hey, the pain or whatever, which is not that painful. But regardless, they say, hey, I'd rather drink it. And you could drink it with it being diluted with pyramid water. All right, with very refined water, you dilute it. And from that place, you can drink it and get still the same benefits. For some people, they actually say they feel the benefits or the energy of the snake much more than actually putting it on their skin.
I actually can say for myself, and I remember in the healing circle sharing the venom in the drinkable form, everyone went into a healing trance state within a minute of drinking the elixir.
Right. I remember that day. That was deep. I was in the zone too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baraka,
Definitely.
what have you found with the drinkable version? What have you noticed yourself? We can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, sorry about that. So first, I want to give a quick testimony. The first time that that I took the snake medicine, I was dealing with some serious pain that was in my jaw and in my ear, and I think I had like an infection in my gums or my tooth or something. I had a crazy experience with a dentist. But anyway, Brother Duli had put some burn marks right behind my ear, right where the pain was, and he applied the cobra venom. And literally, immediately, I felt the difference. And then by like the next day, 2 days later, the pain was totally gone. And I even went and got myself checked out. And it was like, nah, ain't nothing wrong with you. You good. So, but I was having serious, crazy headaches for a while. I think about maybe a week or two. Yeah, about a week before I first tried it. So then I sampled the venom, drinking it. I drank it with the same thing with some pyramid water, and so also, but I also have to mention that same day I had also received the cobra treatment on my skin as well. But when I had the medicine on my skin and I drank it, it was like literally instantaneous as far as like I felt like I was on another frequency. It was like literally, it was like, and it was a very calming, relaxed, knowing type of energy. It was like I felt like I was conscious and calm at the same time. Yeah, that was my experience. But it was like a buzz, really. You know, it was a buzz. I felt like I was on a heightened consciousness level. Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's what's up.
Thank you for that. Contraindications. I want to talk about who cannot experience the venom.
Okay.
Brother Duli.
Well, yeah, overall snake venom is the elixir is very safe for most individuals. The only thing is that if you have to be very aware if people have blood clots or type of issues around that, because some snake venom is coagulant and anticoagulant. All right. So you have to be aware of that and know that, hey, if somebody has some blood clots and stuff, you know, which ones that, you know, can actually help with that, or because there's some ones that can make it worse, you know,
And what about
being that
people
if
with
it's,
ulcers? Can people with
huh?
ulcers, people who have ulcers?
Well, I would say the people with ulcers, it should be safe, you know. Again, I have
You,
no
yeah, I think that really needs to be checked, because a person with an ulcer,
mhm,
that means that when they take um, anything, it
mhm,
goes directly into the bloodstream. So
right,
it may be, you don't, that would be something to definitely look into more,
right,
to see if
right,
ulcers would be contraindicated. If
right,
I think that would be a red flag if a person has an
right,
ulcer,
right,
you
right,
know, so just
right,
being mindful of that.
right,
Uh,
right. I'll definitely look into more of that with my
yeah,
teacher.
because
I
just
would
to
say
play it
maybe,
safe.
yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
thank you. Go another room, Kismet. I'm talking. Okay. Yeah, go another room. Thank you. Yeah.
In
Um.
summary, I want to get into the summary, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Uh,
Okay.
what about diet? Does diet play a factor in the effectiveness of the elixir?
Um. And no, not at all. Like there's some medicines out there, like for instance, combo frog medicine. Like you can't eat any food prior to your session. You have to do it on an empty stomach. There's dieta with ayahuasca. Some people, you know, really say certain foods that you should stay away from prior to the session. But snake venom is very, very, very simple. You don't need to fast. You don't need to. You could eat something while you could actually be eating while on the snake venom. So the beautiful thing about it is it's a very, very easy medicine. It's not psychedelic. But yet some people do get visions of the snake. I've had numerous people say they had vision of the snake come to them and visit them while they were on the medicine or after the medicine in
I
dreams.
actually can say that that has happened with me. It's almost as if the spirit of the serpent came, presented himself, and it felt like a spiritual helper.
Right, right, right. Because these things are now in your auric field as well. So, like for instance, when I tell people about combo doesn't really have any enemies, at all. So when you're taking combo or you start to have a very carefree attitude because now you have the spirit of the frog in your auric field. That's the same thing with the snake. Now you have this energy around you. Now that's actually challenging you to be a better version of yourself. So there's a lot of people that I've given the elixir to that sometimes it could become uncomfortable for some people because we're now talking about shadow work. All right. So some of the snakes will actually bring a very challenging type of thing to you. They'll say, hey, why are you thinking like this? Or why are you putting yourself down? Like, where's this coming from? So it will bring a lot of your stuff to the surface. So if you're one of those people that are not willing to really look at your shadow self or do shadow work, then kind of be prepared for that too, because there was numerous people that have come to me and said, oh man, my stuff has been intensifying with that and with this medicine. And I could say that as well, that a lot of even working with this venom over some time, that it just makes real change in your life, and you got to be very mature because it's like it will bring your stuff up, and you got to be brave. You got to be able to look at it face to face and say, hey, I'm going to deal with these programs or deal with these type of things that aren't me, that I picked up over the years, So it's very interesting in that regard.
All right, thank you, brother. I want to, Baraka, you got any questions? Because we're ready to wrap this up.
Oh yeah, you know, one
I
thing
just think
before Baraka.
it would be helpful. I mean, he spoke to it, but I think it would be helpful to officially make the distinction between venom and poison. Some people may be, have some concerns. I know you said it was safe, but
Right.
just make clear the difference between venom and poison, and how the body can accept venom in diluted or small doses or
Right.
various forms.
That makes me
Well,
think of
well, this
acacia. Good question, brother. Good question.
Yeah, well, this is a very secret tradition. So when you even look on the internet, different places, you're not going to find that much information about this, unless you really go into a lot of medical research journals and stuff. But it's a very secret tradition, and it was very guarded with well respect, because this tradition knew over time as much water dilute it to make it safe for a human being. So we know this is a tradition that's been passed on for thousands of years, and from one shaman or one medicine man to the next, it's the ratio. We're taught a safe ratio of mixture of dilution with the water to make sure it's safe for human consumption. You know, um, and also when you drink it, you're not taking in any type of venom or anything. When you drink it, it's different too, because it breaks down in your stomach. So you're mostly getting all the enzymes and proteins and all that. This is a video of what's his name? He's this guru from India, Sadhguru or something. He shows him drinking the cobra, and people are freaking out in the audience, like, you're gonna kill yourself, but it's very safe to drink as well, even without the dilution. But we're taught the safe way to make sure it's diluted in a way where measured correctly to make sure it's safe for each individual. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that,
Also,
Duli.
I was going to say something to this, because I Queen of Swords, is that her name? Queen of Swords. She reminded me of something when she was at your spot the other day, Hank. She said, "Oh, you got to talk a little bit about how it affects your sexuality." She said the people want to know that, So just to let people know, there's definitely venoms that help with the libido, definitely. And one of them that really helps with that is Bushmaster, especially for the fellas. I'm just gonna let you know. You deal with that Bushmaster, bong, bong, bong. It's on and popping. You going all night, you know what I mean? And also Bushmaster brings a lot of confidence to an individual. So if you know somebody or yourself who's very timid and can't really speak up for yourself, that boss is always down your back and just messing with you, and you don't get respect from your no. You deal with the Bushmaster. Like I said, some of these elixirs want to bring the best out of you. They're pushing you to be the best version of yourself. So I've seen people that literally have that 360 turn, and it's like now they're standing up for themselves. They're speaking up. They're being more vocal. Their throat chakra has been activated. They're saying, "Hey, I don't deserve to be treated like this. Hey, you know what? I'm a hard worker. I deserve a raise. Whatever." But yes, that Bushmaster is very fiery, very Shango, very Ogun. Brings that inner warrior out of a person, and also really helps with the libido. In regard to that too, for the sisters, water moccasin and Ferdinand. I've had testimonies that the yoni was just humming, you know what I mean, singing a happy song. And water moccasin and Ferdinand is very good in general for womb healing in general for the sisters. I'm talking about dealing with fibroids, cysts. I had one woman had a cyst on her breast, gone in after 2 treatments. Yeah.
Thank you, Duli. I'm ready to wrap it up. How about you, Baraka?
Over and out.
Duli, thank you for an excellent presentation. We wrapping this up. Peace out.
No doubt.
Oh, before we go, give me your contact information. Are you on social media?
Oh yeah, I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook on under Shaman Duli. You can find me there, or you can even email me at lovemotherEarth33@gmail.com. Just be patient. Sometimes I'm just dealing with a lot of clients, or raising my children here, making sure everything's good around my family. So I'll just try to get to you when I can, but I'll definitely get back to you.
Sounds like a plan. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, I want to thank you again, Graka, for the opening. Thank you, Brother Duli, and peace and blessings.
Peace.